Ma'am, recording started.
This,
One second. Let us bring some.
this call is now being recorded.
So today, good morning once again, children. Good morning once again. Boys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes. So, okay, say good morning once again. Okay, now please, I don't want anybody to talk in the middle. And let me explain this lesson. So before I show you the translation part, which is from the book that I've taken, let me tell you a little about this story. Now, this story is about knowledge and treasure of knowledge. The characters here are a king and a pandit. Pandit is actually a wise person who has knowledge and who has knowledge especially of slokas, Vedas, and Puranas. Now, slokas, Vedas, and Puranas are very old books, which deals with philosophy and the way of living in a society. So these are all books of Vedas, slokas, and Puranas, and the Pandit. Pandit is the wise person who knows everything about it. Okay, now Pandits are so knowledgeable that even sometimes the king has to bow down before them, before his wisdom. Sometimes the king is, of course, always wise, but there are Pandits who are more wiser and intelligent even than the king. So the king has to bow down and accept that he is much more knowledgeable. And he is the only one who can impart the correct knowledge in the correct manner to the right people. So this story is about a king and a pandit. Now, are you listening? I hope all of you are. So, if you have any doubt, just let me ask me. Okay. Now, the story is. Let me tell you. It is set in the 11th century, in the heart of Bharat or India. Now, why it is in the heart of heart of
Ma'am,
Bharat?
Madhya Pradesh.
What better? I cannot hear you. Please repeat what you are trying to tell me,
Ma'am, I am
boys.
saying that heart of India means Madhya Pradesh.
Yes, you all know the map of India, right? And Madhya Pradesh is in the center. That's why we say it is the heart of India. Okay. And in those days, it was also known as Mala Pradesh. Okay. Now it is known as Madhya Pradesh. But before years back in the 11th century, it was known as Mala Pradesh. And the king who ruled Mala Pradesh was, or now Madhya Pradesh, was known as Raja Bhoj. All of you all would have, if you all were interested in comics when you were young, you all would have read stories of Raja Bhoj. Okay,
Yes,
Akbar, just like Akbar and Birbal, even stories of Raja Bhoj were very famous. Okay, so Raja Bhoj was very popular at time because the way he took care of his kingdom and his people, then he was fair to all his citizens. He was never biased or unfair. He would evaluate the wise people and give very good rewards and gold coins. So when people used to come to his court, all the wise people, he would listen to them. He used to gain knowledge from them. He used to talk with them, interact with them, and then he could judge. He could evaluate that where this person stands. His knowledge is so high. Like he's such a knowledgeable person. So he would evaluate the wise people, okay, and give very good rewards and gold coins. Like those days, the king used to give rewards and gold coins. So during his time, there has been many stories, humorous stories of humorous incidents and stories that were funny. Okay, and these stories have been compiled into a Sanskrit book named Bhoj Prabandh. Okay, so Bhoj Prabandh is a Sanskrit book which has mostly funny and humorous and intellectual stories, mostly with the central character as Raja Bhoj, because he was also very witty and very intelligent. Okay, so many Sanskrit scholars have also mentioned Raja Bhoj in their books. So Raja Bhoj was so popular and famous those times in the 11th century, and because of his knowledge and wisdom and his witty intellect, that everybody knew him, even the neighboring countries knew him. And whenever there were books written in different places, also different states or different kingdoms, Raja Bho's name was always mentioned. So he was that popular. Okay. And many of his conversations have been written down, knowing of his wisdom and knowledge. So in this lesson also, Rakesh sir has already explained to you, but let me explain that this again isn't a conversation between the Pandit and Raja Bhoj. Okay, and both are trying to prove themselves even more superior to each other. Okay, both are going to, they are going to prove. And Raja Bhoj, why does he always interact with intellectual people? Because not only that he gains knowledge, but he can judge how knowledgeable the other person is. So now I'll just show the translation. Okay, now, sorry, this is one second. I'll move on to the 1 second. So here, the translation. Now this lesson is an extract from a very famous extract. Means if a book is written and some important lesson is there, like if there are some 20 chapters are there, but one is very important or one paragraph is very important, that means an extract. So this lesson is an extract from a very famous work, okay, and composed by Vallabha Kavi. So here the king gets drawn into a verbal duel. Verbal duel means an argument, okay? A sort of a friendly argument. Not that you are in a bad mood and you start quarreling with that person, but a friendly verbal. Verbal means oral, not written, but verbal. With a young stranger, by chance, the initial response seems to be scornful. So in the beginning, there's, they are a bit scornful. Scornful means like showing, one is the better than the other. But the stranger is not intimidated. Intimidated means the Raja tries to, instigate. Instigate means to start, making him angry. So that person becomes scornful, starts hating or, showing some reactions. But the Pandit was not at all intimidated. That is, he was not affected by the king's pinching him, like, pinching him in the sense by words. Okay, and he's like a hammer that can break or destroy the picture. So this is about oh no. So this is about a story about a pitch, some sound. What sound is it? Okay. Okay, turned off. Chalo. So here it is about the stranger and how he is not intimidated. That is, if somebody like two friends are there and third person comes and tries to, create some quarrel between you all, you will not be instigated. That is, you will not be affected by what the third person is saying because you are talking to your friend. So you should not be instigated. Okay, that is the meaning. So the king says he is like a hammer. So the Pandit says that I am like a pitcher. Pitcher means, it's a jar like thing, water jar. Okay. Like the mud pots you have, but it has a handle and it has a spout. So it's like a, like a mud pot. And he's saying, I'm like a mud pot, but the hammer says, but the king says, I'm like a hammer. I can break or destroy a pitcher. So that is when begins the fight or the clash of egos. So this is the time when both says, the Pandit says, I am a pitcher, and the king says that I am a hammer. Both of them start their heated argument, Ego slowly develop into pleasant, brilliant verbal. So both of them, they start arguing, like a pleasant game. Now this is a game of words. Okay, like you all have debate, right? So in the debate, what happens? One team puts the topic, the other one argues against it. Okay. In the same way, this is an argument between two intellectual people. Brilliant verbal strokes. Verbal strokes means giving brilliant answers. Okay. So while reading the story, add details and colors using your imagination. So when you read this story, and if you imagine that there is a palace and there's a two people and there are courtiers and there is the Pandit and the talking, they are, having a verbal interaction. You can imagine. Okay, visualize the expression of the face. You can imagine how their faces would be. And the match ends in a draw when the topic of contentment comes and both the players appear to shake hands. So the match ultimately ends in a draw. Here, just like you all have a debate, it ends in a draw because both the sides they have a mutual understanding of contentment. Now, content means satisfaction. So now we will go to this. Okay, now here, page 9, you can see a king named Bhoj was a lover of learning, lover of fine arts, and devoted to his subjects. So many scholars, expert in laws, used to come to his royal assembly from far off countries. Again, as I have already introduced and told you that Raja Bhoj, here they are talking about Raja Bhoj. Okay, and he used to love arts. He was a wise person. He loved intellectuals, and he was very devoted. That is, he looked after his subjects very well. And so many scholars and experts in lords used to come to him. Lords means in their glories, in their time, used to come to his royal assembly for far off countries. So when people used to hear that Raja Bhoj is, means ruling there, and we want to meet him because he was so clever, everybody wanted to see and hear his witty talk. So once Bhoj was seated in the round window of the palace. You can imagine that he's standing there on the palace. He sees a newly arrived, unacquainted young man. Now, unacquainted means not a known person. Okay, acquainted means a known person. You know him. Like suppose you have a neighbor nearby and you see him every day, though you don't talk too much with him, but you know that he's your neighbor and you say, he's an acquaintance to me. That is, you know him. But unacquainted means somebody you don't know. So suppose there are a group of boys, your school boys, and a newcomer comes, you will immediately know that he is a new person. Okay. In the same way, Raja was sitting on his balcony and he was watching the people, passing by. And suddenly he sees an unacquainted young man in the street. That is somebody he does not know. So he calls him into the palace in order to know who he is. So he tells his guards to call him inside. Then between them, the conversation took place in this way. So this is the conversation they had. So Raja Bhoj starts by asking, who are you? The young man says, I am a Ghat Pandit. Ghat Pandit actually means a pitcher. Pitcher, as I told you, it's a mud pot. Okay. And Bhoj saying, Ghat Pandit? What indeed does Ghat Pandit mean? So Bhoj is asking, I have never heard about Ghat Pandit, So what is this actually? So the young man says, just as there is a water filled up to its brim in the pitcher, in the same way there is full knowledge in me. So I consider myself to be a Ghat Pandit. So he's saying that I consider myself a Ghat Pandit because when you fill water to the brim, but till the edge, of a pot, it is full. We say it is full. The pot is full. In the same way, I have intelligence and brilliance, and I'm so witty that it is full in my head. Like my head is filled with knowledge. So I consider myself to be a Ghat Pandit. Ghat Pandit means, again, I told you, it's a pitcher. Pitcher means a mud pot. Okay. And mostly in the olden days, the pitchers were like a mud pot with a handle and a spout. Okay. Now, if you have any doubts, please ask me, children. Are you listening? Boys? Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Do you all understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if you have any doubt, please ask me. So Bhoj, listening to the proud speech of the young man and thinking himself to be better than him proudly. So Bhoj is listening to the young man who is very proud of his knowledge. And so Bhoj thinks that Raja Bhoj himself says that I am better than him. I have more knowledge than him. So he says, in a counter argument, if you are a pitcher, I am a hammer. The hammer breaks the pitcher by its one stroke. I will also destroy you like a pitcher. So he's saying that don't be so proud. If you feel that you are a pitcher full of knowledge, I am a hammer. I can break you. Okay, at one stroke. So I will also destroy you like a pitcher. Okay. So the young man says, so if you are like a hammer, I will become fire. Becoming fire, which does the work of burning, and it reduces the hammer to ashes. So the young man counterattacks. He says, "If you are a hammer, I'll become fire." And a hammer has a wooden handle, right? So a wood over there with the sharp. I mean, the iron part is on the edge, and the wood you hold with. So you think I can burn the hammer, okay? And to ashes. So I can make it to ashes. Ashes, that just as you burn coal, it becomes ashes. Okay. This also hammer, the wood will burn and become ashes. Powder ho jata hai. So Bhoj, if you become fire, I shall become rain. So Bhoj is saying that if you become fire, now what boys tell me, what if there's fire and if rain comes, what will happen? Can anyone answer? If you become fire, I shall become rain. So saying that what will happen if there's fire and if it starts raining? Boys, I'm asking a question. Boys, Hamza, are you there? Who is there? Boys, I want you all to know whether you're understanding or not. Muhammad Abbas, are you there? Yes, I want to know if there's fire and if it starts raining, what will happen?
It will not
The
catch
fire
on
will
fire.
cannot stand.
So what will happen? So what will happen? Fire cannot stand the rainfall. Similarly, you cannot stand in front of me. So this is how Boj is saying. The young man says that if you become a hammer, I'll become fire and burn the hammer to ashes. Okay. And Boj is saying that if you become fire, then I'll become rain. So what will happen? The fire will cool down. Okay. So the fire cannot stand the rainfall. Similarly, you cannot stand in front of me. So the young man. But wind is able to blow rain anywhere with its own force. So becoming the wind, I'll blow you, and there when you are in the form of rain. So the young man says, like first Raja Bodh says that if you're a pitcher, I'll become a hammer. So the young Pandit says that if you become a hammer, I will become fire. So again, Bodh argues that if you become fire, I'll become rain. So the young man says that if you become rain, I'll become the wind. But wind is able to blow rain away with its own force. Becoming the wind, I'll blow you here and there when you are in the form of rain. So what happens? He is also arguing that if I'll become a wind, so what happens? You must have seen, clouds in the sky these days. Do you all see the clouds in the sky these days, children? Yes or no? Do you see clouds in the sky? I'm asking you a question. Do you all see the clouds in the sky these days? Boys? Hamza? Hyder Ali? Hyder Ali? Asad Raza? Abdullah? So
Yes, ma'am.
I'm asking a question. Are you not listening better? So I'm
Ma'am,
asking that, yeah. So do you see clouds in the sky these days? Yes or no?
yes,
But does it rain heavily?
no,
Why? Because the winds, they blow away the clouds, and so whenever we're expecting rain, it doesn't come because the winds are playing its role. So the wind is able to blow the rain away anywhere with its own face. Becoming the wind, I will blow you here and there when you are in form of rain. So both says, if you are wind, then I'll become a snake eating wind. Being a snake, I'll eat you in the form of wind constantly. So the snake, if it's a big snake, like in those days, we used to consider Sheshnag as one of the biggest king of snakes. So what does a snake do? Can anyone tell me what will the snake do if there's wind? Can
ma'am,
anyone
can
tell
I say?
me? Huh?
Ma'am, can I say?
Yes, better.
Snake is getting more air other
Yeah.
than
Yes, it will suck in all the wind. It will suck in all the wind. Okay, it will suck in the wind. So what will happen? There will be no wind. So the young man says, if you become the snake, I'll become the eagle eating the snake. So here the young man says, now if you become the snake, I will come as in the form of eagle and eat the snake. So Boj taking the play of words ahead. So Boj is very interested now because the conversation is taking a very interesting turn. So if you are the eagle, then I am Vishnu holding Sudarshan Chakra. Vishnu rides on the eagle. So he's saying that if you are the eagle, that is eagle is a bird, and that time if you do, you might not be doing about the Hindus stories on all the religious stories, but here we have Vishnu. Vishnu is Lord, Lord Vishnu. He's God with Sudarshan. Sudarshan is like a small a discus. You have seen the discus, round plate like thing, discus. It has spokes. You have not seen discus throw. Those who play sports must be knowing what is discus. Okay, so the Vishnu holds a Sudarshan in his hand. So you see, like if you are the eagle, I'll become Vishnu. That is, I will ride on you because Vishnu rides always on the eagle. That is its chariot. So saying, I will ride on you. So I'll become Vishnu. So the young man bowing to Vishnu mentally and displaying scholarship continues. So young man in his mind he bows to Vishnu. Bows means he solutions. He pays his solutions to Vishnu God because he thinks Lord Vishnu in his he's imagining that Lord Vishnu is there and I should pray to him. So he bows to him. But he still continues his argument. So if you are Vishnu holding chakra, Vishnu holding the disc, I am the crown that looks beautiful on your head. So saying that if you are Vishnu, then I'll become the crown on your head. So obviously I'll be higher than you. Okay, I'll be superior than you. So the crown always stays on the head. The crown always stays on the head. Whether all of you would have seen the pictures of king with crowns. The lords, the Hindu gods have crowns on the head. So was experiencing the scholarship of the young man, he sings, then I am the flower looking beautiful on the crown. In this way, I shall be above you. So Raja Bhoj argues, now if you become the crown of Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, then I'll be the flower on top of your crown. Because when you offer a flower to God, you put one on the head also, you put at the feet also, but I'm going to become the flower on the crown. Okay. So the young man says, if you become the flower, I shall become a bee and be on you or the flower. So saying now, if you become the flower, then I will become the honeybee. You'll have seen honeybees in the garden? Yes or no? Okay, you'll have seen honeybees. Okay, so your honeybees saying, I'll be the honeybee on top of the flower. So again, I'll be above you. So what happens? First, Raja Bose says, I'll be Vishnu. So Pandit says, I'll be the crown. So Raja Bose says, I'll be the flower on top of the crown. So again, he counter argues the young man that I'll be the bee on top of the flower, honey bee. So both says, in this way, you are a bee. I'm the sun. So he's saying that if you become the bee, then I'll become the sunset. Now, why sunset? The bee that is inside the flower becomes a prisoner there at the time of sunset. I too will make you a prisoner. So he's saying that, if the bee sits on the flower, the bee does not realize that during sunset, the petals close. And so the bee will become a prisoner. Okay. So the young man. So if you are the sun, I'm very powerful Rahu, and Rahu follows the sun. So now in Hindus, like in the Hindu astrology you must be knowing. Yes, it's the science of planets, So I think in Hindu astrology, I'm very powerful Rahu, and Rahu follows the sun. So Rahu actually is a dragon or a demon with a head, and Ketu is another demon with the without the head but the whole body part. So in our astrology, it is said that if somebody has got Rahu or Ketu, it means the person is going to have very bad, like experiences, or he's going to experience something which is not expected, So he's saying that I'm very powerful Rahu, and Rahu can swallow the sun. So he's saying that if I become Rahu, then I will swallow you, because Rahu is a demon. it's a dragon, you know. And so and if you must have heard, you know, I don't know about you all, but astrology, there are all the different planets, even this the days of the week. So Mangal, Budh, Guru, Shukra, Shani, Rahu, Ketu, all these are planets. Okay, just as we hear of Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, Venus, all these. Okay. So again, Bodh says, say, if you become Rahu, I will give you money. Who has assumed the form of Rahu? This pride of yours will surely be subdued. Say, you know, in astrology it is said that if you want to lessen the bad effect of Rahu and Ketu, you know, you have to donate money or you have to do some good deeds. So Raja Bodh says that I will donate money to you. So what will happen? You know, your pride will be subdued. That is, your pride will become obviously very less because you will take money from me. So the young man smiling cleverly. Now the young man is smiling in a very clever manner. So if you practice charity, then I'll be the one who's contented. So young man says that if you are practicing charity, that is, charity means you are going to pay money to me, you know, I will, I'm the one contented. Your efforts of charity will be fruitless. That is, I will not take the money from you. So your effort of trying to save yourself from Rahu will go waste. So it will be absolutely free from, so being absolutely free from greed, I shall not take money offered to by the way of charity from you. So you think if I don't take money from you, then what will happen? Your efforts will be fruitless. So in this way, during the course of argument going on between the young Raja Bhoj and young man engrossed in controversy, when the topic of contentment came up, according to the maxim, when contentment comes, everything becomes quiet. The argument also automatically stops. So the young Pandit says, you know, that if you give me money, I will not accept money because I'm contented. Contented is I'm satisfied with what I have got. So I don't need anybody's charity. I don't need donation. I don't need funds. I'm happy with what I have. So hearing this, you know, when it came to contentment, satisfaction, okay, Raja Bhoj and the Pandit both came to a conclusion that where there is contentment, you know, there is no need to argue. The argument automatically stops. Okay, so finally, bowing to the young scholar who was clever and endowed with knowledge and virtue, Bhoj Raja, the ruler of Dhara, said, O Ghat Pandit, you are welcome in the kingdom of Dhara, that is the worship of quality or merit. You have become victorious. No one can defeat a person who is contented because indeed contentment is a great treasure of man. So finally, you know, the Raja, being a king also, he bowed to the young man, to the young scholar who was so clever and he was endowed with knowledge. That is, he had so much knowledge and virtue. And virtue means, you know, virtue is all the good deeds. Okay. The ruler of Dhara said, "Oh, Ghat Pandit, you are welcome." So the king welcomes him. That Ghat Pandit, you are welcome to my kingdom. Okay. And that is why, that is the worship of quality for merit. So in our kingdom, we welcome those who worship quality of merit. That is, who has got very good, extremely good knowledge. We worship them. Worship means we pray to them, like pray to them in the sense not literally pray, but we give so much of honor to them. You have become victorious. So you have won the argument, you know, because no one can defeat a person who is contented. So he's saying that no one can defeat a person who is contented. That is, when we are satisfied, you know, even if 10 people come and tempt you with this, that, whatever, so many things, you will say, no, I don't need it. I'm satisfied. So when contentment is there, you know, there is no question of arguments, you know, there is no question of defeating. So no one can defeat a person who is contented because indeed contentment is a great treasure of man. So if a person has contentment, that is one of his best qualities. Okay, so boys, I think you all would have understood the meaning of this lesson. Boys, yes or no? Boys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. You all were sleeping, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you were
No,
sleeping?
ma'am. No.
No, ma'am.
So you
No,
all,
ma'am.
I want to ask you all, did you all understand the lesson? Did you all
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Do you have
Understand.
any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Do you
No
all have any
doubts.
doubts?
No, ma'am.
No doubts? Because you know that when you are getting your Sanskrit paper, you have to answer the few things in English also. That's why I ask you over and over again. If you have any doubts, please ask me. Okay? Acha. So now, okay. So anyone can tell me this story in short. I want somebody to volunteer to tell me a story in short so that I will understand that you all have understood me. Okay? So can you please tell me one of y'all, or shall I just point out a name? Should I point out a name? Muhammad Abbas, beta. Muhammad Abbas. Muhammad Abbas, are you there, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Muhammad Abbas, yes. Can you please tell me the story in short? Can you please tell the story in short? Huh, beta? See, I'm showing you the book also. I mean the slide also. Can you please tell me the story in short, Muhammad Abbas? Come on, child. Beta? That means you didn't understand, beta. Is there any problem with my teaching? You don't understand? Or is it that I'm speaking too fast or anything, beta? Muhammad Abbas? I want you to answer me, child. Okay, anybody else would like to volunteer to tell the story in short? Because we have 8 minutes left, 7 minutes. Who will tell the story? I think only Hamza. Hamza, are you there? Hamza? Hamza, are you there? So, you all are saying you all understood the story, but none of you all are volunteering to tell the story, repeat the story so that I'll know you've understood better. It's for your good. It's not for my good, better, for you all. And even I will know what I have taught you is clear to know you all or not. I want you all to answer my question, children. Mohammed Saqib, Mohammed Saqib, Mohammed Saqib, Mohammed Saqib, Abdullah, Meghani Saif, are you there? Boys, I should know, no, whether you all have understood or not better. Why are you doing like this, children? You are not interested in learning the translation? Then I shall talk to Rachita, ma'am. तुम बोलो तो.
Hello boys, good morning. Hello boys.
Yes, sir.
હા છોકરાઓ તમને કાંઈ ન સમજાણું હોય તો મેમને પૂછી શકો છો અને સમજાણું હોય તો પછી તમે આન્સર આપો તો મેમને પણ ખ્યાલ આવે કે તમને સમજાણું છે, મને પણ ખ્યાલ આવે. બરાબર છે? તો આ મહેનત જે છે એ કોના માટે થાય છે? તમારા માટે થાય છે. બરાબર? સમજાય છે છોકરાઓ? સમજાય છે છોકરાઓ?
Yes, sir.
હા એટલે તમે જે છે જે કાંઈ પણ ઇંગ્લિશ ટ્રાન્સલેશન તમને સમજાણું હોય તો પછી આન્સર આપવાનો મને તો ખ્યાલ આવે, મને પણ ખ્યાલ આવે કે તમને આવી રીતે ઇંગ્લિશ ટ્રાન્સલેશન સમજાણું છે. કારણ કે આપણે ક્વેશ્ચન પછી આ ઇંગ્લિશ જે ભાષાંતર છે ટ્રાન્સલેશન એ બધું તમારે શેની અંદર આવશે? ઇંગ્લિશમાં જ આવશે. બરાબર. અને એક સૂચના છે બધા માટે, જો સાંભળી લો. આપણે જે છે, જો સ્કૂલ શરૂ થઈ જશે, બરાબર, સોમવારથી, તો પછીની જે એક્ઝામ આપણે લેવાની છે, તો એ એક્ઝામ તમારે પછી અહીંયા સ્કૂલે આવીને જ આપવાની રહેશે, બરાબર. હેન્ડ રાઇટિંગ એટલે કે તમારી સપ્લિમેન્ટરીની અંદર જ આપવાની રહેશે, બરાબર. જે કાંઈ પણ આપણે અહીંયા દર વખતે એક્ઝામ લઈએ છે એ જ રીતે. પછી જે કાંઈ પણ સૂચના હશે એ તો તમને આપવામાં આવશે, પણ પછી ઓનલાઈન એક્ઝામ નહીં લેવાય. ટૂંકમાં તમારી સ્કૂલ ચાલુ થઈ જશે, બરાબર, ત્યારે તમારે પછી ઓનલાઈન એક્ઝામ નહીં લેવાય. ત્યારે પછી તમારે એક્ઝામ અહીંયા આવીને જ આપવાની છે, બરાબર. એટલે આપણે પૂરતી વ્યવસ્થિત તૈયારી પણ કરવી પડે ને, બરાબર ને છોકરાઓ? સમજાય છે હું કહું છું? હેલો, હેલો, હા,
યસ સર.
ખ્યાલ આવે છે ને હું કહું છું એ?